Good morning, foodie family. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know I did. And looking forward, and let me say forward to some much needed rest and time off. Some of the kids are going home for the holidays, but the majority of the children are not at the facility. So normally what we do is that we make gifts and we pass them out and we pull names from the basket. This is a tradition that I started many years ago. Not to give away my age, because that would be like saying, how old are you right at this moment? As young as you feel. I'm just reading a question that I got from a follower saying, do you ever feel like you have one child that is just such a problem child? You don't know what to do. You're just like at your wit's end. Never. And let me be clear with that. Never. A problem child to me is a child that is still learning to find their own way. They're navigating, basically experimenting, looking for identities, and normally they tend to emulate their surroundings a lot more than some of the other kids who have been in and out of facilities the majority of their lives. And so what I really try to do is make them problem solvers, not fire starters. Because I used to call them, check this out, I used to call them fire starters, because what they would do is that they would observe the facility and the children who all were just basically knew the system, knew the rules, knew the do's, the don'ts. And so they would just kind of like sit back, and then it would kind of like isolate them. And so they would start doing awkward behaviors, standing on their head, doing cartwheels. And all along, they were really observing me and trying to see if I showed any favoritism towards any of the other children, which I never did. Because I believe that group conscious will work that situation out, or will modify the behavior on its own without any help from me. And normally it does. So, next question is from Ask. So, have you ever given up on a child? Never. I'm always available, 24/7. The kids that have gone through the facility, matter of fact, have turned out to be some remarkable human little beings. Do I think that they're ready to, how do you say, teach or come back and speak? I try to avoid that, because I believe that every child is just basically different, and they're very impressionable, and they don't take a liking to outsiders coming into the facility and observing them. So I'm very selective who I select, who's I let into the facility, has to go through a series of interviews first of all. Let me be perfectly clear on that. You're not just going to just say, okay, I want to volunteer. It's not going to happen like that. Not around the foodie kids, you know. I've been at this a lot longer than, you know, someone just walking in and just sitting in the group and observing a group. Because juveniles are a lot different than dealing with, how do you say, men who have gone into the system and been in the system all their lives and have transitioned over to the other side, which is prison. Whole different type of mentality. I will go into that later. So we're getting ready to bake some cookies. And we're getting ready to do our morning group. And I believe that Santa likes cookies, you know, and a Pepsi, you know. But, and so we leave it out for him, you know. And whoever, if the Pepsi's gone or if the cookies are gone, then it's okay, you know, it's just okay. So I hope everybody have a wonderful day, positive, productive, and remember, when the 7 days of Kwanzaa starts, you know, I think it starts on somewhere around you know, I'm kind of careful about incorporating religious practice to the kids because they're a little bit too young to really grasp, you know, the concept of what Kwanzaa is, with as with religion. So I really try to steer away from that because I believe that ultimately they will decide in a power greater than them, you know, because this is a long-term facility. It's not like, you know, a Band-Aid facility that many have been calling it. It's not a Band-Aid facility. This is a long-term facility, you know, and I'm going to leave it like that because a child is so, you know, they're so impressionable. You know, they're so impressionable. There are many facets that they cognitively have to go through as far as learning, development, and putting all that into some type of schema for themselves so that they, when they leave here, they'll become productive members of society and not menaces to it. I don't know how many of you have seen that movie or seen a lot of the movies that try to fix society when the problem is that society is going to always be like it is. And there's nothing that you can do about that. You can't mend fences just to build walls up, to tear them down. You can't do any of that because it doesn't exist. The barrier between man and himself is himself. Let me be very clear on that. The barrier is man himself. So with that, you know, this is my blog talk radio. You know, this is a blog talk radio, you know, and I call it my PA system. So whatever you want to call it, have at it. You know, so I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll look forward to updating you about what's going on in the community, you know, fashion. The kids, I mean, they're just so impressionable about what the stars are wearing and what they're doing. You know, they save their little money that they make, you know, from plowing or, you know, shoveling snow. We have a little jar that we put money in, you know, so they can buy the little extras when we go out, and all in good earnings. Let me just say that, and a lot of times, I come out of my pocket for it and have, so it's the small things that they appreciate, children around this time, not the big giant bike or none of that, or the big, latest toy, You have to teach children the wonders of the world, their imagination, just give them a box, an oatmeal box, just put something in front of them, clay, and they'll build a snowman, So that's it. And you guys have a wonderful day.